Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sarah of Horror, where I usually review 3 or 4 movies, and not always in the horror genre. Just want to point that out. Yeah. So, I will start with a film that I have been looking for such a long time. I read the book when I was in high school. So yeah, that is a while ago. And the film that I'm talking about is Handling the Undead, also known as Hanteringen of Odöda. Yes. So, this movie is from 2024, so it just had its premiere at the Gothenburg's Film Festival, which I'm currently watching. I have like an online pass, so I can watch a few movies online, and that was one of the first ones that I watched. And I was super excited about watching it. Yeah, and it's directed by a Norwegian director, Thea Kvistendal. Since I read the book in high school, I really wanted to see this turned into a feature film. And there have been like a lot of talking about making it to a feature film during all of these years, but it never happened until now. So, I mean, you have to imagine how excited I was because I really, really loved the book. It's by the same author who wrote the book Let the Right One In. Yeah, you know, that book, which then got turned into a feature film, a Swedish feature film, and then, you know, it was a huge worldly success. Yeah, same author. And I do really like his books, Jon Ajvide Lindqvist. Okay, so the plot. For anyone that has not read the book, this movie deals with undead people. We see different types of families, different types of relationships. So the movie kind of jumps back and forth between a lot of characters, a lot of situations, a lot of different families. So all of these families or all of these people, they have recently lost someone very dear to them. Yes. And then when the movie starts, everything kind of feels kind of empty. Something is different, and then their loved ones come back. Yeah, I mean they are kind of dead, but not really, like undead, as handling the undead. And then these people and families, they are trying to find out how to deal with the situation, basically. And you might have heard the word undead and be thinking like, nice, zombie movie. No, you can't think about this film in the zombie movie way. This is a film that shows how people deal with grief. That's basically it. How to deal with grief and just how to deal with this situation that has come out of nowhere. Yeah, so it's not a literal zombie film in that sense. So if you're thinking zombie film and that is what you're gonna get, then you will be very disappointed. But think of it as, just someone trying to learn how to deal with grief and how to deal with the situation. And I have to say that I found the book to be a lot better. Now, it's been a while since I read the book, as we, as we stated in the beginning of this episode. But I have to say that the book didn't really, or at least, I don't know, maybe I read the book really fast, but the movie was very, very slow. And I mean, it is a slow burn. It wants to build up the relationship between the characters, but the problem is they did leave out a lot of the details from the book, and I have to say that I didn't really feel for most of the characters just because they left out some details, then we're jumping back and forth. And some people, like, we get to see the back of them, get to see them from a distance. So after half the film was when we were introduced to some of their like faces from the front, like a proper like shot of them, and I'm like, oh, that's what that okay. So somehow that connection that I really wanted with all of the characters kind of wasn't there, unfortunately. Not like when I read the book, like there was kind of an immediate thing. I was like, oh, this is so good. And that is kind of what I was hoping for that the film would bring out as well. I do have to say though that the makeup was really good. It was like kind of subtle and it kind of fitted the film's tone overall. And I was very impressed by the makeup. I was. And you know, there's not a lot of gore. Some blood scenes, but not a lot. But that's really not like the point of this film. As I said, it's not like your typical run-of-the-mill zombie movie. I can understand that this film will be dividing people. People will either really like this one or they will really dislike this one. Like, I can understand both sides. The cinematography is really good. It's a very beautiful film, but just a bit too slow, in my opinion. A lot of things that happened like later on in the film should have happened a bit sooner. I did like the acting, have like nothing bad to say about the acting at all. And there were like 2 or 3 scenes that were like, oh, okay, this kind of feels like exactly how it felt when I read the book. Yeah. So honestly, I don't know if it's good that I read the book before or if it would have been better to watch the movie first. I honestly don't know. Maybe I would have liked the film a lot more not having read the book. If you have read the book, what do you think? If you've read the book, please let me know in the comments what your experience of the book was. Did you enjoy it? And how do you compare it to the film? And if you haven't read the book and if you have watched the film, just let me know your opinions about the film, please. Then, you know, towards the end, I kind of felt something was missing. I didn't like leave the film being like, ah, oh, that was, you know, very, very powerful and just exactly what I wanted. I just left with kind of an emptiness, just wanting something more. Something was missing. Yeah, it's not how the book left me feeling. It's like totally opposite. So I don't want to say disappointed, but I am. Like, I was so looking forward to watching this film, and I was disappointed because I was hoping to love the film. Like, usually I really loved Let the Right One In, the Swedish version. Thought it was fantastic. And I was like, you know, handling the undead, looking forward to it, great book. And then I got like, meh. Like, it's not a really memorable movie to me. Like, I watched it yesterday and I've already forgotten a few things. I have to really think hard. So if you see me going like this, that means I'm thinking hard. I can do that sometimes. I know it's very unbelievable, but it happens sometimes. This little thing works sometimes. Like the locations that they chose, I really got the feeling of the emptiness, you know, just the overwhelming feeling of, okay, so what do we do now? Because they film there's a lot of gorgeous shots that are just showing like roads and houses and forests, and it's all empty. It's everywhere's like empty. So that empty feeling really worked when those shots were in the picture. And yeah, there were a lot of times that I kind of lost interest, unfortunately. You know, I was watching a movie, but I wasn't really into the film. I was kind of being drawn out, and I really want to be drawn in. Yeah, so that that was also, I mean, it wasn't like horrible. Like, oh, this is the worst film probably that I would see this year, but it certainly won't be the best, or the next best, or the mediocre one. Yeah, this will be like one movie that had so much potential and just such a good story to pick from the book, and it just fell flat for me, unfortunately. It was just so drawn out, and I mean, I understand slow burns. I usually like slow burns if they are done in the correct way. It was just too much of a slow burn, really. Yeah. So, what will this movie get from me? I will give it a 4 out of 10. Yeah. So, a 4 out of 10 to handling the undead, Hanteringen av Odöda. And I'm so sad about it. Like, I really don't want to give it a 4 out of 10 or a low grade, but I have to be honest. Have to. So, yeah. Moving on to review number 2. Okay, so I'm back with review number 2. You know, I had to fix my lips for the last review. I wanted, you know, to be on theme with the undead theme, so no red gloss. But now, feeling a bit more fancy. Okay. Oh, and I also see that my butler is no longer in a Christmas type of mood. He is ready for Valentine's. Yes. Isn't that so, butler? Moving on to the second film, which is Dark Harvest. 2023 is directed by David Slade. The plot. So, the plot for this film is that we're in a small town, and they have like an annual ritual where all the teenage boys in the town have to fight off or kill this creature or legend that they have in town called Sawtooth Jack. Yes, and he comes every year on like Halloween. So it's a Halloween film. And it comes every year, and these teenage boys, they have to, you know, hunt him down and find him, hunt him down, and kill him basically. But it's not that easy. Yeah, it's not. This is really a hunt for life or death. So that is the basic plot of the film. And then we have this character called Richie, and his older brother actually won this annual hunt last year. So he kind of lives in his shadow. Because if you win this contest, then you get like a car, and then you get to escape town. Yeah. So Rich is like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to get the car. I want to escape, you know? But there are rules. If, you know, your brother or someone in your family won the contest, then you cannot enter. But he breaks the rules anyway, because he's cool. Yeah, but yeah, he does. Of course, he enters the competition somehow. When I first saw the poster and heard about this film, just the title, like I didn't watch any trailers or anything, and I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, well, let me see what this Dark Harvest is all about. And I'm actually glad I did. It wasn't at all what I was expecting it to be. And I have to say that what I like the most, I really like the creature design of Sawtooth Jack. I liked it a lot. So I was happy when they showed him in frame. Yeah, I wanted to see him like in frame all the time. But I thought he was really cool looking. So I am happy that they got the makeup on point. It was so good. And then also I say I did care about the characters. I cared for Richie and for another woman called Kelly. And I was very invested in them and invested in this whole story and this whole town, this mysterious town and their ritual. I was like, what is going on? I have to say that there were a lot of very creative, cool deaths in this one. Yeah, I was honestly surprised in some of the gore. I was like, yeah, this is great. I'm so happy that I put in some more brutal scenes. Some of them I wasn't expecting. They just kind of came out of nowhere. I like the location. You have a huge cornfield for Sawtooth Jack, where he's hanging, kind of brewing for a year. Then he gets killed and is brewing again. So I thought that was really cool and a creative location. I like the set location, the scenery. Felt very kind of 60s. Design on the clothes and things, yeah, like 50s or 60s, something like that. And I do really appreciate it. And I think that this film, it does stand out among a lot of the films that I saw last year. And I'm really happy that I saw this one actually. Because I think that the plot kind of differs from a lot of other movies, and as I said, the scenery, location, just the creature design. Was it the best movie? I mean, no, but it was fun, it was enjoyable. I was invested in the film and I was invested in the characters, and I had a great time watching the film, which is the most important. Okay, not the most important. I mean, I can have an awful time, but it depends on the awful that I'm feeling. Is that like awful, oh, this is a horrible movie? Or is it like awful, like, oof, this is a, hard movie to sit through. It really hits hard, That is a good kind of awful. Yeah. And, the acting was pretty good from a lot of the cast involved. They certainly did their job. And yeah, I mean, everyone did enough for their characters to be really convincing. Yes. And I also think that the actor who played Sawtooth Jack did a really good job with his portrayal of the character. And I also like the name, like Sawtooth Jack. What will I give this movie? Let me do my thinking face. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Yeah. So a 7 out of 10. Yeah, that's pretty good in my book. And if you get a chance to watch Dark Harvest, then I urge you to do so. Moving on to review number 3. Okay, everyone, time for review number 3 in this episode. And it's another film from the Gothenburg Film Festival, which I'm currently watching, as I explained in the beginning. And it's a film called Fremont. It's directed by Babak Jalali. And it's about this woman called Danya, or her name is Danya. And she works at a factory who produces these fortune cookies. Yes. So she works for a Chinese company. And one day she decides to put a special message in one of those fortune cookies. And also she used to be or work as a translator for the US government, because she comes from Afghanistan and she moved to the US. That's like the basic plot of Fremont. And the movie is in black and white. And you know me, that I love when movies are in black and white. I think it's charming, especially when you do it right. Because, you can, there are certain like nuances and shades of the white and black format. So that is why sometimes it looks better and sometimes it just doesn't do much, doesn't feel 100% right. But when you do it like in the correct way, then it's so super charming, and I just love watching it. Scenery is really amazing. and the cinematography really, you know, fun to look at. And we have Danya, and I have to say that the actress who plays her, she did a really fantastic job. She sold me on this film, and she was like the reason why I wanted to keep watching this film. Just her portrayal, her facial expressions, you know, the little details, and I could kind of always know what she was thinking, like what was going on in her head. I could like identify her at some points, not with all, of course, just in some situations where I was like, okay, she's probably feeling this right now. She's trouble sleeping nights, so she goes to this doctor, psychiatrist to get some sleeping pills. And they end up, you know, talking about a lot of things, including her life in Afghanistan, how she worked as a translator, even, you know, her work with the fortune cookies gets brought up in a kind of fun to watch scene with the doctor. And we get to know a lot about her, and it's very interesting, especially the scenes and the moments that they have together. Like the relation between those people are like just the way that they play off each other in those scenes, even because she's just sitting there, he's just sitting there, and you know, the camera cuts back and forth between them, sometimes on a table. So it's not a lot of movement, not a lot of action, but it's still very, very interesting in my opinion. Now, this is a kind of low-key film, and not a lot of fast action happens, but I still feel like whenever something does happen, it's kind of a big deal, and it really moves the story forward. And I don't know, I just found this film really charming and very memorable in my opinion. And also the characters that she meets, her co-workers, neighbors, and yeah, just other people that she comes across. It's done in a very like interesting way. I also think that everyone acted really well in this film, but I have to say Danya was the best. She really was. Also really fun because they have like a montage of people eating at a Chinese restaurant and reading fortune cookies. Yeah, that she has written, and it's that's a really fun detail to just focus on people, you know, reading the fortune cookies, the messages, and it's not really something that I thought a lot about. You know, I've eaten a few fortune cookies. It is fun to read the fortune, and I also think that it was a fun idea to use for a film that revolves around fortune cookie messages. So yeah, if you're watching the Gothenburg Film Festival, if you have an online pass, then please do not miss this film. But by the time that this episode is released, you can probably not watch it anymore. So yeah, you can only watch the movie for 24 hours. Yeah, it's only available for 24 hours since its premiere. Yeah, so I've been like binge watching a lot of movies. I'm like, oh, I have to finish this movie so I won't be missing the next one. And yeah, a bit stressful, but also fun. And I think Fremont is probably my favorite film of the festival so far. Yeah, so I'm really super happy that I managed to watch this film in time. Okay, so what will I give this film? I'm giving it a strong 7 out of 10. Yeah. Strong 7 out of 10. Maybe if I will rewatch this film in the future, which I probably will, it might get an 8. 8 out of 10, maybe. But for now, a strong 7. Let's move on to review number 4. Okay, time for the last review in this episode, and I will be reviewing The Tank. So, The Tank is from 2023, is directed by Scott Walker. The plot is, okay, so we have this family, Ben and his family, they inherit coastal property, and then, you know, they move there, or they go there, and then, you know, they accidentally release this kind of creature that terrorized, like, the whole town. generations before them. So they released that creature. Yeah. So I had wanted to watch this movie for a long time. I just, never got around to it. And then I was looking through Netflix. I was like, I don't know what I'll be watching. And I was like, okay, let me just see what this movie is all about, because I had heard a lot of people talking about it. So I put it on, and I have to say that this movie is filled with so many cliches. It's like horror movie cliche, one after another. And the biggest problem with this film is that it just didn't seem original. It was just, they took a lot of ideas from so many horror movies, mixed them together, and got like, cliche movie number one. So, and it kind of threw me off a lot. Because, I want to be drawn into the film. Just like that I talked in my review of Handling the Undead. I want to be thrown in. I want to, keep watching. I want to be tentative. I want to be like, oh, I can't stop watching this. And it was very hard. I was really trying, but it was very hard not to be, after a while be like zoned out and be like, oh, yeah, I'm watching a movie. That's great. Especially when it's a horror movie. So, yeah, I was kind of disappointed. But there were a few lights at the end of the tunnel. The creature design. Creature design was cool. I actually did like that one, and I always appreciate a good creature design. I mean, this movie isn't overly filled with gore and blood. I mean, there was like one scene where they could have done so much. Just added like a nice creative death scene with some gore, but they chose to kind of cut it before. You just see someone screaming, getting dragged on, and you see their body later. And it was just, they could have done a lot in that moment. So it was very disappointed that they did not go there, because it just felt, the editing felt so typical. The build-up felt very typical. The script, the dialogue, just, yeah. But I do like the tank, the thing, that location was very well used, and it was pretty cool. And some of the shots and camera angles were very well done. So I have to give them that. But yeah, unfortunately, the negatives outweigh the positives in this instance, unfortunately. But honestly, I kind of got what I expected. I didn't expect a lot from this film. Yeah, didn't get a lot, except, a movie filled with cliches. Like, this has been done so many times, and this has been done better so many times. It was really hard, trying to connect with the characters, trying to care about them and really be invested in them. I want to be invested in the people that I watch. No matter what the people are, if they are stupid, if they're funny, or if they are serious characters, or yeah, at least make me invest in the character. Here I was like, don't really care what happens to these people. At least the movie isn't that long, and it did kind of go by quickly. I guess it kind of did. I wouldn't say it was boring. It was just, as I said, not that original, filled with cliches, and it just made me not care about the story or characters at all. I actually cared more about the creature, because it was cool. The design was super cool. So yeah, I did care about one character, the creature. Yeah, I wanted to see a lot more from the creature. Yeah, if we get a sequel, I hope it will focus on the creature, just the creature, how he goes to work or she goes to work, the day in the life of the tank creature, that I would watch that. Yeah, he takes his little hat, put it on top of her head, and go to work. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting, actually. Yeah, but yeah. So let me see. What will this movie get? It would get a 4 out of 10. Yeah. I mean, 4 out of 10. Maybe that is a bit generous. I was thinking a 3, but I was like, oh, come on, it wasn't that horrible, and there were some good parts. So I think a 4 out of 10 is pretty fair, actually. Yeah. Okay, so that was the last review in this episode. Hope you enjoyed the reviews, and please let me know in the comments below your opinions about the movies. So don't forget to like and comment on this video. It really helps my algorithm a lot, because my algorithm has been so broken ever since I took that huge break, and now I'm back, but my algorithm isn't back. So if you could just help me out, that would be amazing. And a like and a comment will do just that. And also thank you so much to all the new subscribers that I've been getting lately. I'm super happy. And if you're a Magic the Gathering fan, then me and Andres, we have a new YouTube channel. Yes, it's a new YouTube channel called Pay the One. And the link to our new YouTube channel is in the description box below. So if you want to see Magic the Gathering videos, head on to our channel and give us a subscribe. Watch our videos. Help us get started. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Have an amazing day. Bye.